Hello gentle listeners, and welcome back to episode 14 of Whispers of the Past. Tonight, I'm taking you back in time over 2,000 years to explore the festival of Samhain, the ancient Celtic celebration that would later evolve into what we now call Halloween. As the leaves turn golden and the nights grow long, there's a palpable shift in the air. It's a time when the boundary between our world and the spirit realm is set to thin. This is the essence of Samhain, a time of transition, reflection, and reverence for the unknown. But what exactly was Samhain, and how did it shape the modern traditions we know today? Let's begin. Samhain was celebrated by the Celts, a collection of tribes that lived across what is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and parts of northern France. For the Celts, the end of October wasn't simply a marker of the changing seasons. It was a deeply spiritual turning point, signifying the end of the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold half of the year. This period was fraught with uncertainty, as the community faced the looming threat of harsh winter months, food shortages, and illness. Samhain, which translates to summer's end, marked the critical moment when the Celts believed the barriers between the physical and spiritual worlds were at their thinnest, allowing for interaction between the living and the dead. The Celts had a cyclical view of time, and Samhain represented one of the most important moments in this annual cycle, a threshold between life and death, growth and dormancy. As the earth prepared for its winter slumber, so too did the souls of the departed become more active. On the night of Samhain, October 31st, the belief was that spirits could walk the earth. For the Celts, this was both a time to honor their ancestors and a time to protect themselves from darker, more malevolent forces. While some spirits were welcomed, those of loved ones returning to their families, others were far less benign. One of the most feared supernatural beings during Samhain was the Eossi, a race of fairy-like entities deeply embedded in Celtic mythology. These weren't the gentle, diminutive fairies of modern folklore. The Eossi were powerful, unpredictable, and often dangerous. Some were believed to be the remnants of the Tuatha Dé Danann, an ancient race of deities and demigods driven underground by invaders. During Samhain, these beings were thought to roam freely across the land, and encounters with them could bring misfortune, sickness, or worse. To protect themselves, the Celts would leave out offerings of food and drink, on doorsteps, altars, outside villages, or by the fields, to appease these wandering spirits. The practice was intended to ensure that the spirits would pass by without causing harm. This custom of leaving out offerings, or treats, for supernatural beings is one of the earliest predecessors of the trick-or-treating tradition we see today, though its origins were rooted in fear and reverence rather than fun. Now let me share a haunting tale that illustrates the spirit of Samhain and the beliefs surrounding the Eossi. In a small village nestled in the green hills of ancient Ireland, there lived a young woman named Aileen. Aileen was known for her beauty and kind heart, but she was also known for her affinity with nature. Each day, she would wander through the fields, collecting herbs and flowers, listening to the whispers of the wind and the calls of the birds. However, as the time of Samhain approached, the villagers began to notice strange occurrences in the fields. Crops were wilting, the livestock was growing restless, and ominous shadows flickered at the edge of the woods. As Samhain approached, Aileen felt an irresistible pull toward the nearby ancient grove, a sacred place known to be a gateway to the Eossi. On the eve of Samhain, she decided to visit the grove, carrying a small basket filled with honey and bread as offerings. As she walked, the towering trees loomed around her, and their branches were seemingly reaching out towards her like skeletal hands. But, undeterred, Aileen ventured deeper into the heart of the grove, hoping the spirits that dwelt there would offer her guidance. As twilight fell, and the air grew thick with mist, Aileen began to feel a chill creeping into her bones. Suddenly, she heard a soft, melodic hum echoing through the trees. Intrigued, she followed the sound, her heart pounding with both fear and excitement. As she approached the clearing, she beheld a gathering of the ARC, ethereal beings shimmering with an otherworldly light, their faces obscured, yet their eyes sparkling like stars. Eileen's presence startled the gathering. She stood frozen, unsure whether to flee or to remain. One of the ARC, a tall figure cloaked in flowing green robes, stepped forward and addressed her. "Why do you disturb our realm, mortal?" Gathering her courage, Aileen replied, "I seek guidance so I can understand the troubles plaguing my village. The crops are failing, the livestock is restless, and the land suffers. I come with offerings, hoping to appease the spirits." The ARC, intrigued by her sincerity, listened closely and replied, saying, "Your offerings are welcome, and we will offer you this guidance. The balance of nature is delicate, and your village has forgotten the old ways. You no longer show the respect that the earth and its spirits deserve. Reconnect with the ancient practices, honor the land, and harmony will be restored." With that, the ARC began to dance, their movements fluid and enchanting, weaving a spell of healing over the grove. Aileen watched in awe, and as dawn broke, the spirits began to fade. Before disappearing, the green-cloaked figure gave her one last warning. "Remember, young one, the veil is thin tonight. The spirits walk among you. Honor them, and they will honor you." Aileen returned to her village, her heart filled with purpose. She shared her experience with the villagers, urging them to rekindle their connection with nature and the old traditions. Together, they prepared offerings, lit bonfires, and held a feast to honor the ancestors and the ARC. As the years passed, the village flourished. Their fields grew vibrant and their livestock healthy. They continued to celebrate Samhain, each year offering thanks to the spirits and inviting them to join in the festivities. Aileen's tale became a cherished legend, a reminder of the balance between the mortal and spirit realms, echoing through generations. Now, you might be wondering, how else did people protect themselves from these otherworldly visitors? One of the most fascinating traditions involved wearing disguises. The Celts believed that by donning costumes made of animal skins and heads, they could blend in with the spirits and avoid being noticed. This might sound strange to us today, but to the Celts, becoming one with nature and the spirit world was essential for survival during this liminal time. By disguising themselves as wild creatures or even as spirits, they hoped to trick malevolent forces into leaving them alone. This custom can be seen as an early version of what would eventually become Halloween costumes, although the intent back then was much more serious, possibly a matter of life and death. In some areas, people also blackened their faces with soot or ashes from the sacred bonfires, furthering their attempts to confuse wandering spirits. Masks, too, were used to conceal their identity from spirits that might seek vengeance or mischief. The tradition of wearing masks and costumes on Halloween is one of the clearest direct descendants of these ancient practices. Central to the celebration of Samhain was the bonfire, a massive, blazing fire built on hilltops or in communal spaces. These weren't just ordinary fires. They were considered sacred and were lit to honor the gods and goddesses, particularly those associated with harvest and the changing seasons. The bonfire also served a protective purpose, believed to ward off evil spirits and offer warmth and light to guide friendly spirits back to their homes. The flames represented both life and death, burning away the remnants of the past year while igniting hope for the future. Communities would gather around these immense fires, and, in a symbolic ritual, they would extinguish the hearth fires in their homes, relighting them from a communal bonfire. This act of rekindling symbolized unity with both the gods and the community itself, reaffirming bonds as they prepared to face the long, dark winter months together. Over time, this practice of lighting sacred fires has transformed into the smaller, personal traditions we see today, carving jack-o'-lanterns, lighting candles in windows, and even the use of fireworks in some Halloween celebrations. Though the grand ritual bonfires are largely a thing of the past, the symbolism of light guiding us through darkness remains a key element of modern Halloween. Samhain wasn't just about death and the spirit world, it was also a time for divination and seeking knowledge about the future. The thinning of the veil between the worlds meant that supernatural forces were more accessible, making it the perfect time to glimpse what lay ahead. The Celts had various methods for predicting the future, many of which revolved around nature and the harvest. Apples, nuts, and fire were used in rituals to divine answers about love, marriage, and prosperity. One such ritual, involving apples, is the precursor to the modern-day game of bobbing for apples. However, in ancient times, this wasn't just a playful activity, it was a serious act of divination. The first person to successfully bite into an apple was believed to be the next to marry, and some even believed that peeling an apple and tossing the peel over the shoulder could reveal the initials of a future spouse. These rituals, while often playful, held deep spiritual significance for the Celts, offering insights into what the coming year might hold. While Samhain was a time of celebration and reflection, there was also an undeniable undercurrent of fear. The Celts believed that, alongside the spirits of ancestors, more sinister beings roamed the earth. One such creature was the Dullahan, a terrifying headless horseman figure who was said to ride through the night, collecting souls for the afterlife. The appearance of the Dullahan was a dreaded omen of death, and his spectral presence served as a grim reminder of the thin line between the living and the dead during Samhain. To ward off these dark forces, people would carry lights, often made from hollowed-out turnips with faces carved into them, which were used as lanterns to scare away evil spirits. These were the forerunners of our modern jack-o'-lanterns, though the use of pumpkins didn't become popular until later when Irish immigrants brought the tradition to America, where pumpkins were more readily available. As Christianity spread through Celtic lands, the Church sought to Christianize the pagan rituals. In an attempt to curb the influence of Samhain, Pope Gregory III moved All Saints' Day, a day meant to honor the saints and martyrs of the Christian faith, to November the 1st, thus aligning it with the existing celebration. This became All Hallows' Day, and the night before, October 31st, became known as All Hallows' Eve, the precursor to Halloween. However, despite the Church's efforts to absorb the festival, many of Samhain's traditions persisted. People continued to honor the dead, celebrate with feasts, and protect themselves from wandering spirits, albeit under the new Christian framework. Over time, the somber elements of Samhain were softened, and the festival took on a more playful, community-orientated tone, gradually evolving into the Halloween we know today. Though modern Halloween is far removed from its Samhain roots, many of the ancient customs remain. Costumes we wear, the treats we exchange, and the stories we tell of ghosts and spirits all trace back to this ancient festival. The act of carving pumpkins and lighting candles is a direct descendant of the Celtic practice of lighting fires and creating lanterns to ward off spirits. Even the feeling of unease, the thrill of being scared, whether by a haunted house or a spooky story, echoes the Celtic awareness of the otherworldly forces that were once believed to roam the earth on this night. But beyond the fun and fright of today's celebrations, there's still something mystical about this time of year, isn't there? That lingering feeling that something is just beyond our perception, a chill that isn't just from the autumn wind. As we move through October and into the depths of autumn, we carry a piece of Samhain with us, whether through gathering around a fire, sharing ghost stories, or honoring those who've passed. The spirit of the festival lives on. So, next time you light a candle or carve a pumpkin, think of those ancient Celts and the way they too honored the darkness and the light. Thank you for joining me on this journey through time to explore the ancient roots of Halloween. I hope this glimpse into Samhain has inspired a deeper understanding of the traditions we celebrate today. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and send me a review or suggestions for future episodes to whispersofthepastreviews@gmail.com. See you next time.